Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and Aaron on the Amazing Bowie Television. Week 4, it's here already, month into the season, or we're about to get into that month part of the season, but we're pretty much here, and it has been a wild week for your boy, but we're going to talk about it as the show goes on. I did not expect to go viral this week. I mean, I guess when you do all this, you expect that. I got maybe not so, but I went viral for maybe some of the wrong reasons. But we'll talk about that as the show goes along. Once again, everybody, let's get this bad boy started. Episode 141 of 101 next on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and, of course, on the Amazing Bowie TV. Let's get the party started now.
One, 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 one. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to One-on-One at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Well, your boy is back, and we're here for episode 141 on 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, Aaron on the Amazing Bowie Television. Look, it has been a wild ride for your boy. The last couple of days have been interesting. We decided to go viral for no particular reason. I don't know why. Darrell said, "Hey, man, this is the move. Let's go viral," and it just kind of happened. But for those who don't know or probably wondering what are you talking about, was in Cincinnati on Monday night for Monday Night Football, which was a great experience. I definitely had a really good time in Cincinnati, and it was definitely an interesting experience. I just didn't get a chance to get some of that Skyline chili. So next time, Cincinnati, me and you have a day with Skyline chili. But get there, big game, Commanders and Bengals on Monday night. The Commanders get a big win. The biggest play of all, the Terry McLaurin touchdown catch into the end zone. Now, the best thing about this, or I don't want to say the worst thing about this, is for your boy, as the play is happening, I see it in my camera lens. I'm like, oh, shoot, here it is. Jaden's about to go deep. You can see it as I try to turn and switch cameras. It just didn't happen that way. And I got so mesmerized by the catch that Terry made that now there's a photo of me floating around that your boy done went viral for for crazy reasons. And hey, look, it's all cool. I've embraced it, but I didn't get the picture of the actual greatness, but I did get a picture of the celebration. So lesson learned, just but when you love it, it's kind of hard sometimes for things to kind of just happen. Sometimes it just happens. That's all I can really say. But that's enough of me. Let's go ahead and get into these power rankings for week 4 and see where we land. We got a big one tonight. Dallas and New York, the Giants. We should be a matchup that, most cases, I would say the Cowboys easily. But the Cowboys have been struggling. Giants had a nice win over the Browns last week. And so there's a possibility. There's a possibility that, hey, the Giants might actually win one of these bad boys. They've had a really rough go against Dallas the last couple of years. But let's go ahead and get into the bottom. Right, so we're going to get into the bottom here. And we got a new bottom. That sounds bad. No, Diddy. But we get into the bottom here, and the last team on the very, very bottom of this totem pole is the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee lost their game against the Packers 30-14 in a game where Green Bay never looked like they were in trouble. And Tennessee could never really get things going. Will Levis struggled. He went 26 for 34 for 260 yards. Numbers-wise, he's okay, that's not too bad. But the 2 touchdowns, the 2 picks, didn't really help his cause because even with the numbers, it just didn't look good. The 2 interceptions, one by Xavier McKinney, who is now leading the NFL in interceptions with 3. He's got 1 in each game. And then Jair Alexander had got the pick 6. He had his second interception, his first career touchdown in this one. So it was just a really rough go for Tennessee. They're still trying to figure things out. Coach Callahan looks a little frustrated from some of the press conferences I've seen. He looks a little flustered. So y'all go ahead and pray for Coach Callahan, man, because he looked like he's going through it right now. And it's early in his career, but he's still looking for win number 1. Might get that this week against the Dolphins, but, I digress. We got the Titans at 32. At 31, the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that is equally struggling. I don't know what's going on with Jacksonville, but the way that the Buffalo Bills put that 47-10 beat down on Jacksonville on Monday night, one of those Monday night doubleheaders, the early one, it was rough. And Trevor Lawrence, who is the highest paid quarterback, or was the highest paid quarterback in the league at one point, 21 for 38, 178 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. It just didn't look good. Christian Kirk had 8 receptions for 79 yards, but it just wasn't enough. Josh Allen and the crew went off. I mean, Josh Allen 23 for 34 touchdowns, 263, and it looked easy. That's the thing. It looked real easy. So Jacksonville's got to figure it out, and they're already starting to call for the end of the Doug Peterson tenure. This is the guy who got him into the playoffs in his first year there. Was the number 1 seed heading into like week 7, week 8 last year before Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk both got hurt in the game. And from that point on, it hasn't been the same. So they've got to figure it out quick. If not, Jacksonville, as if I'm not mistaken, right now currently has the number 1 pick in the draft. It's only 3 games in. But if it was to start today, they would have the number 1 pick of the draft. Jacksonville's at 31. At 30, probably a very shocking 30, is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I saw this team play in person on Monday, as you well know, and watching it, I felt like Coach Zach Taylor was like holding back, or whoever was calling plays at the time was holding back on this team, because the Commanders struggle in the defensive backfield, unfortunately for them, and they attacked it, but they didn't attack it enough, in my opinion. You get T. Higgins back, and I felt like it just, maybe you could have utilized him a little bit more. But then you see Jamar Chase, first drive, bombed the Jamar Chase. It was great. And I was like, watch out for Cincinnati. And it just didn't materialize. Jaden Daniels had an amazing game. Oh, my goodness. He was amazing. And I mean, if you're a Commanders fan, you got something to smile about. Cincinnati, you got the number 23 team in this power ranking, the Carolina Panthers, next week. So now I'm intrigued to see what that will look like next week. Andy Dalton playing against his former team after fresh off of their victory against the Raiders. I got a weird feeling Cincinnati's going to be 0-4, and there's going to be some very, very upset fans. Bengals at 30. At 29, the New England Patriots. Really wasn't a game on Thursday night. 24-3. Jets did their thing. They're a young team growing. Drake May did get to see his first time in a NFL game as in the backup role, but he did get some time in the game. But they've got to fix some things there, and it's going to take some time. I just hope that the New England faithful will be patient. At 28, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, they took on the Indianapolis Colts in a game that just felt it was bad to me, because like I was watching on the Red Zone, on Sunday. I actually got a chance to sit back and watch football on the Red Zone Sunday. It was hard to watch. Both quarterbacks had 2 picks. The numbers, Caleb Williams 33 for 52, 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't pretty though. If you watch him, he was running around, he's getting sacked. It was hard to watch. If you're a Bears fan, you're like, hey, we might actually get our first 4,000-yard thrower, but is he going to be? He's getting banged up, and he's still running around making some plays. He's throwing some flashes, so we'll see. But Richardson, it was ugly. 10 for 20, 167 yards, 2 picks. Thank goodness for Jonathan Taylor, as he came through with his 2 touchdowns. They've got to figure some things out on both ends. For the Colts at 22, even with the win, they just got to figure it out. The Bears, I feel like they have potential to make something happen. That offense looks bad. At 27, the Miami Dolphins. Whew, boy, I don't have that much to say about Miami other than I hope that Tua gets healthy soon because it's also looking bad. They're gonna get caught with their pants down like Homeboy did, like Homeboy did during the game. He got tackled and their pants fall completely to the ground. Oh man, poor guy. Especially they got camera shots of it. I've seen floating around online. It's a little rough, but yeah, Seahawks they move on to 3-0, and Dolphins just a really rough game. They've got to figure it out. They're at 27. At 26, the Cleveland Browns, another team that is continuing to disappoint. Their game starts off crazy. New York gets the ball first, they fumble. All right, and next play, Deshaun Watson finds Mari Cooper, and it's already looking like this is going to be a blowout early. Well, you know what? The Giants just didn't give up. They never stopped fighting, and they end up taking the lead. They handled things. Hey, Daniel Jones had a solid game. 24 for 34, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors continues to show why he's probably, going to be a top 5 receiver in this league for a long time. 8 receptions for 78 yards and 2 TDs. Daniel Jones has found him a guy to throw the football to. Malik Neighbors may end up saving Daniel Jones' career in New York. We'll see. Giants at 25, Browns at 26, but the Browns got to figure that thing out. Giants got their first win of the year. The Raiders, 1-2. They come in at number 24 with a loss to the number 23 team, the Carolina Panthers. Carolina dominated this game. Andy Dalton was amazing. Like, you say to yourself, like, man, you feel bad for Bryce Young and everything that went down. But, man, let me tell you something. Andy Dalton came in and showed Panthers fans there's still some hope this season. It may not be a ton, but it's a lot of more hope than what you probably had last week. 26 for 37, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns for Andy Dalton. He looked great. Absolutely phenomenal. Can't get my words out. Chuba Hubbard, he had 21 carries for 114 yards. Deontay Johnson, who they got in the offseason to help Bryce Young, 8 receptions for 122 yards and a TD. Then he threw this laser, just gorgeous pass to Adam Thielen, and Thielen did end up getting hurt on the play. So, speedy recovery to Adam Thielen. He's going to be out for the next couple of weeks with a hamstring. But, man, it was just a masterpiece for Carolina. And I'm glad Carolina fans got that because it was looking really grim. Panthers at 23. Raiders at 24. At 22, we talked about the Colts and their win over the Bears. It wasn't pretty, but they moved up a little bit here in the power rankings. At 21, and the last person here on the bottom, the Denver Broncos. The Broncos showed up and showed out against a Buccaneers team who I had in the top 5 last week, but not there this week. They had them in the top 5 last week, and the Broncos came in there and they did their thing. Bo Nix looked great in this one. No touchdowns, no picks, but he managed the game well. 25 for 36, 216 yards, and they went in there and they did their thing, and they got a dub. And shout out to Bo Nix getting his first win. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom: the Titans, the Jaguars, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Bears, the Dolphins, the Browns, the Giants, the Raiders, the Panthers, the Colts, and the Denver Broncos rounding out the bottom. Boy, I mean, the bottom this week was very interesting. I said to myself, like, it's going to be a very interesting week with some teams in there. We had some teams in there last week. It was like, oh, boy, why are they in there? But as we continue to go along, we're finding out more and more about these teams as the weeks go along. So we'll see how it goes. Well, let's go ahead and see who's knocking on the outside looking in. Outside looking in. At number 20, the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams got their first win of the year after finding a way to come back and defeat the number 16 team on this power ranking, the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco had this thing in hand. You hear me? They had this thing in hand. Jawan Jennings, who shines, ladies and gentlemen, shines when one of those two big-time receivers, if it's Debo or Ayuk, is out. He seems to be the person that comes through in the clutch and do big things. And he did exactly that in this one. And he had 3 touchdowns. He looked great. I was like, man, San Francisco's got this in the bag. It's going to be smooth. No biggie, But it wasn't the case. And it wasn't the case at all. So it was kind of hard to see it kind of, go the way it did. But unfortunately, it did. And then there's nothing you really can do about that. But the Rams get the win. They are now the They are now in position to make some leeway in the West. Next, we have another team in the West, the Arizona Cardinals. They had a tough loss to the had a tough loss to a very tough Detroit Lions team in a game which was actually really close, a 20-13 game. And I really thought that the Cardinals would pull this one off. I picked them last week. I thought they had a chance at it, but they just never really could get it going. And Detroit did what they needed to do to get the dub. But the Cardinals, I still am interested to see how they do this season. I'll get to see them this week as they take on the number 12 team in our power ranking, the Washington Commanders, at home next week. So I'm excited to head out to Arizona to see what that's about. And please, King Griffey Jr., be there. Please, 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 please. That's another story for another day. At 18, we got the Atlanta Falcons. They were in a locked up battle with the defending champs. It was a really, really, really good contest. And I thought that they had a shot. I thought they were going to win that thing. But in the end, it was all about how this Kansas City Chiefs team find ways to just keep making dreams happen. I mean, they are just as tough as they come when it comes down to it. And there's nothing you really can do about it. They just find a way every single time. So shout out to them. And the Chiefs, they're probably still where they were last week. But the Falcons, I still got good feelings that they're going to be all right before the season is over with. They're 1-2. They're at number 18. Number 17, the Dallas Cowboys. Whew, boy, Dallas had it rough. They got to figure that thing out. Dallas had it rough. They were down big to the Ravens, made a comeback, but the Ravens were able to hold them all for them to get their first win. The Ravens are now 15th in the power rankings this week. And it was just kind of one of those games where I thought, okay, Dallas is going to sneak this in the end. But that ends up not being the case. And they were able to make something happen. And the Ravens get their win. And they move out of the bottom back into the outside looking in. The Cowboys are trying to figure it out. And they're going to have a chance tonight against the New York Football Giants. Cowboys at 17. Of course, we talked about the 49ers. They're at 16. The Ravens are at 15. At 14, the New Orleans Saints. They took on the Philadelphia Eagles in a game that was just ugly. After scoring 92 points, 92 points in the first 2 weeks, all of a sudden, they look like the Saints from last year. But they did hang with this Eagles team, but they look like the Saints from last year and then end up losing the game 15-12. And for me, I just sat there and said, how do you lose this game? And they just couldn't get it going. And then Derek Carr throws this pick that just looked unnecessary at the end of the game. But even despite all the ugliness of this game, big plays by Saquon Barkley. He had 2 touchdowns. And then Dallas Goedert had 2 great plays and one that ran up the sideline that put Philadelphia in position to win that game. The Saints got the Falcons this week. It's going to be a very interesting game, especially in this NFC South. It's going to be another interesting year for the NFC South. See, we got 3 NFC South teams in the outside looking in. So the Saints are at 14. At 13, the San Diego Chargers. Well, you know what? This week, they're the LA Chargers because of the way they played. The LA Chargers lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers move to 3-0. And shocking, they are the division leaders right now in the AFC North. Well, maybe it shouldn't be shocking, but for me it was, because I really didn't see them at this point. I didn't know if that would be the case right now for that team. But shout out to Pittsburgh. Now back to the Chargers. It just didn't look good, especially the way they played the first 2 weeks. But the Steelers defense did what they needed to do. They came through in the clutch, and the Chargers did see their star quarterback go down, and Taylor Heineke had to come in after they kind of pushed to get Justin to play. So we'll see what Justin's status is as we go along in the weekend to see if he actually ends up playing on Sunday. At number 12, left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. The Washington Commanders are at 12 here in the power rankings. I know last year at one point they were, I want to say last year we had them in the top 10 last year, but I could be wrong on that. I can't remember every single thing. But I will say this Washington team was impressive. The way they played on Monday was a marvel for me. I've seen a lot of Washington Commanders games since 2017, and I'm telling you, this is probably the most complete Washington Commanders game that I've seen in person. They look good all the way through. Jaden Daniels had a heck of a day. He was the NFC Player of the Week. His day was just phenomenal. 21 for 23, 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. He throws that bomb to Terry McLaurin, who had 4 receptions and 100 yards and a touchdown. They say, you got to get Terry the football. They finally get Terry the football. And your boy, as I was talking about at the beginning of the program, right there for it, saw it and everything. Now I'm a viral. I don't know why did I do this? I'm a meme now, and I got everybody all week texting me and Darrell, what was going on? And I got to answer for my crimes, I guess, y'all. But it was definitely an interesting moment, and it was cool. I really enjoyed it, and it was cool to see Terry make a big play. I'm just so happy for Terry McLaurin. The Commanders are at 12. At 11, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tough loss to the Broncos. And I really wanted to drop them further back than that, but I still think this team is a lot better than what we saw on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes from here. All right, the outside looking in. Rams, Cardinals, Falcons, Cowboys, 49ers, Ravens, Saints, Chargers, Commanders, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, we're chugging right along. It is time to go ahead and jump into that top 10 and find out who is in our top 10 this week. Top 10 this week. Starting off with the Aaron Rodgers-led New York Football Jets. Congratulations to the Jets. Nice win on Thursday night, pushing my Thursday night record to 3-0. Thank you, New York Jets. As they get the win over the New England Patriots 24-3. Aaron Rodgers looked like Aaron Rodgers, a little old school Aaron Rodgers. The team looked good as a whole. Now, they are playing the Patriots, and yes, the Patriots have played competitive this year, but Aaron looked great. 27 for 35, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. Breon Allen, their other running back outside of Breece Hall, had 11 carries for 55 yards. Tyler Conklin had 5 receptions and 93 yards. He threw his first touchdown ever. Aaron Rodgers threw his first touchdown ever to a number one wide receiver, the first round wide receiver, I should say. No, he's never thrown a touchdown pass to a first round wide receiver drafted in the first round until last Thursday. Go figure, right? But the Jets are moving along, and they got the Denver Broncos this week. They're at 10. At number 9, the Tennessee Titans. The Houston Texans. The Houston Texans had a rough go. The number 3 team in this power rankings, the Minnesota Vikings, gave them everything they can handle and more. Minnesota looked phenomenal, y'all. Minnesota looked real good in this game. Darnold, 4 touchdowns, 17 for 28, 181 yards. Efficient. Very efficient. Aaron Jones, 19 carries, 102 yards. I'm a very sad man, y'all. He comes into Lambeau this week, and I had to see him in the wrong colors taking on the Green Bay Packers. This Packer enthusiast is not thrilled about it, but I hope he gets a great ovation from the Packers faithful when he's there. But it was all Minnesota, and it never looked close. And you can kind of tell that the Texans miss Joe Mixon, but I'll be honest with you, even if Joe Mixon was there, I don't know if it would have made a difference. Not the way that Minnesota Vikings team looked. The Texans are at 9. At 8, the Green Bay Packers. Nice win over the Tennessee Titans and giving Malik Willis that revenge that he deserved after getting shipped off to Green Bay as the season started. I'm glad they did it now because Malik is going to be a really solid backup for the Green Bay Packers. And I just love the way Matt LaFleur helped put him in positions to win. I absolutely love it. So, Matt, great job on that. I really appreciate the way Matt kind of helped get him along. And Tom Clements, one of the greatest quarterback coaches of all time, doing his thing and helping Malik come along. So I think it's just a beautiful thing to know that you have a solid backup behind Jordan Love. The Packers are at 8. They take on the Vikings this week, 8-3. At number 7, the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia, boy, they won ugly, but they like I said, they won ugly 15-12 over the Saints, but they won. And that's all that really matters. They still got to figure some things out offensively. I think it just looked rough. Their defense has had some problems. we'll see if the Eagles can kind of turn it around here. They've got the Buccaneers this week, but I'll be honest with you, I got the Bucs winning that game. But we'll see. At 6, we got the Detroit Lions coming off their win from the Arizona Cardinals. They are going to be on Monday Night Football this week. They take on the number 4 team in the power rankings, the Seattle Seahawks. So that'll be our second matchup between top 10 teams in our power rankings. That should be a fun one. The last couple of years, Seattle and the Lions have had 2 phenomenal games, and they lucked up and have to play each other for a 3rd straight year. And the series is split. Who's going to win the rubber match? We'll see. The Lions are at 6. At 5, the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 5 team, 3-0, 1 of 5 undefeated teams left in the NFL. Pittsburgh hasn't been pretty, and it hasn't really been ugly. It's just been right there down the middle, and they've just been winning the games. And Justin Fields has had a good time. He's playing great football. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good luck, man. Keep that thing rolling. They're number 1 in the AFC North. At number 4, we talked about the Seattle Seahawks and their great play. They beat up on the Dolphins. They won 24-3, and now they're sitting at number 4 on our power rankings. They're having a really good season. Shout out to Mike McDonald, who's done a really good job up there as head coach. He said he wanted to change the culture around there, and things are looking good so far for Seattle. They're at 4. At 3, the Minnesota Vikings. We talked about how great they've been and what they did to Houston on this past Sunday, and I'm intrigued to see. Let me not lie to you. I don't want to see him go far at all, and that's all right. Y'all know that's the Packer enthusiast in me. I don't want to see him go far at all, but I gotta respect what I see, and I'm really happy for Sam Darnold. It's hard to crawl out of a hole where people mark you off as a backup and you're not that good and whatever. And he comes to Minnesota and he shines and he's looking great. He's looking really, really good. So shout out to Sam Darnold. I'm glad he's having success. I'm just hating that he's having success with the Minnesota Vikings. They're at 3. At 2, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo spanked Jacksonville. And Jacksonville had Buffalo's number the last couple of times they played each other, but not this time. I think Josh Allen and the crew was thinking about that thing because they came to play, and that 47-10 beatdown to Jacksonville at home was just a masterpiece. Josh Allen, man, he looks different. I know, having Stephon Diggs is a big deal, believe me. But man, it looks really good, and that team looks balanced. So shout out to them, and we'll see what Joe Barry and them can do up there. If they can keep striding along. They got the Ravens this week. That's going to be a big Sunday night matchup. Last but not least, the number 1 team for the 3rd straight week, the Kansas City Chiefs. They have done it again. They went and did what they needed to do. They got a dub, and they are on their way to potentially maybe a 4th straight week after that win against Atlanta. But Atlanta had a chance to beat them. They just couldn't pull it off. All right, everybody, here it is, our power ranking, top 10. We got the Jets, the Texans, the Packers, the Eagles, the Lions, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Bills, and number 1 for the 3rd straight week. Well, the 4th straight week. Let me clarify. For the 4th straight week, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, no, I was right the first time. I was a straight week. I outguessed myself, y'all. It's bad when you outguess yourself, but it is what it is. But for the 3rd straight week, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1. All right, it's time to finish this up. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to run to the finale. Now, of course, we got to start the finale with our new segment. And it's technically new/old, but our new/old segment. It is time to find out who are our kings of the gridiron for week 3.
Let's get ready to rumble! Who won war in the ring? Who won war with the king? Bring all the balls you can bring. It ain't gonna cost you a thing. You ain't bring the sauce to the ring. You must send the sauce in the ring.
Welcome, everybody. Week 3 of the NFL season is over, and we have our kings of the gridiron for week 3 of the season. And I tell you what, it was a great week, and our 2 kings definitely deserve their flowers. First, let's start on the offensive side of the ball with the man, the myth, the legend, the Red Rocket himself, Andy Dalton of the Carolina Panthers, is our offensive king of the gridiron. Andy had a great day, 26 for 37, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of 123.6 in a 36-22 win over Las Vegas. Andy really had the Raiders on their toes on Sunday with some great play overall. With everything that was going on in Carolina with Bryce Young being benched, he really showed up and showed out and was able to do what was needed to get done to kind of put Carolina Panthers fans at ease for now. And now this week they take on the Cincinnati Bengals, so he takes on his former team with a chance to prove that they should have never got rid of Mr. Andy Dalton. He is our offensive king of the gridiron. On the defensive side of the ball, we head to Tennessee, where the Green Bay Packers were able to get a dub against the Tennessee Titans 30-14, but thanks to Jair Alexander, his 5 tackles and his pick 6 that he took to the house that helped propel the Packers to their second win of the year. And he helped teammate and former Tennessee Titan Malik Willis get some much needed revenge after they sent him away right before the start of this season. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, our week 3 Kings of the Gridiron, Andy Dalton of the Carolina Panthers and Jair Alexander of the Green Bay Packers. We'll see you all next week for another edition of Kings of the Gridiron.
My actions go off of your energy. You don't want to go in that ring with me. I hit you so hard, think it's 10 to me. Practice the ball that you bringing me.
Well, there it is. There it is. Our Kings of the Gridiron for week 3, players of the week. Andy Dalton, 26 for 37, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of 123.6 and a big win over Vegas. And then Jair Alexander, 5 tackles and an interception. And that pick 6 gave the Packers what they needed to get in the win column for the second time. Now, let's head over to our top 5 MVP candidates. It's switched up a little bit this week. Number 1, Pat Mahomes. I know that 2 spot be just flipped around. We switch that 2 spot every week. But Pat Mahomes still running the show. They're 3-0. There's no reason right now for me to give it to anybody else. I could give it to the man that's at number 2, Josh Allen, because of his play and what he's doing right now with, and some people would consider less at the receiver position, but they look great right now. And I can just feel AFC Championship game starting to build, Bills and Chiefs again. I don't want to do that to a lot of the Ravens fans out there, but we'll see. But we got Allen there too. Number 3, we got Darnold, Sam Darnold, ladies and gentlemen. He's having a great year. Sam Darnold, coming off of a 4-touchdown performance, has done nothing but taking care of the football and put this Minnesota Vikings team in a really good spot to win games. So shout out to Sam Darnold. He's at 3. At number 4, Saquon Barkley, who has been a touchdown scoring machine this year. He had 3 against the Packers. He had 2 last week. He's playing really good football in that Eagles jersey, and it just looks different. And he looked great when he was in New York, but he looks phenomenal right now in Philadelphia. And number 5, the man who's leading the league in sacks, Mr. Aiden Hutchinson. He's got 6.5 sacks or 6.5 sacks. He's doing really good things right now. Definitely probably the lead candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, but I think my man Xavier McKinley got a little something to say about that, but we'll see as the time goes. Now let's talk about these pick'ems. Let's talk about how bad your boy did last week. The season continues to just fall down the wayside, but it's early, man. I still got a chance to make up for this. 23-25 overall. Obviously 8-8 the week before. 6-10. It's gotten worse. I went from 9-7, 8-8, now 6-10 this week. It's got to change. I don't know. Hopefully I'll figure it out this week, but man, it's got to change. I can't have this stay this way. It's ugly. Our experts last week, our NFL experts on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, Katie and Joey once again leading the pack. Team Raymond not playing around. Katie had 12 wins. She went 12-4. Joey went 10-6. And then we had our man Joe Dillard Jr. He went 10-6. So those are our NFL experts of the week in our league, in our Pick'em League. And of course, Joey leading the way right now. Joey, 33 wins. He's got a 4-game lead over Cody. Victor and Cody are sitting there in second place trying to gain some ground on Joey. Lamont is having himself a really good year. 2 Lone Ranger wins, not 1, but 2 Lone Ranger wins for Lamont. And that put him in a really good spot. And just shout out to Lamont for everything he was able to do last week. So, and then we got Justice, who went 26-22. James went 25-23. And your boy sitting at the bottom. I can't do that. I got to get to the outside looking in because this sitting at the bottom is not fun. And in the All-Star division, Katie leading the way with 32 wins, 4-game lead over Russ. Joe and Russ are sitting there battling with Katie, trying to get things going. Jay's with 26 wins. Ty has 22. Larry with 21. And Rob has 20. So those are our picks for this week. One Lone Ranger in this. Well, one person with another 2 Lone Ranger. He's trying to get 4 Lone Ranger wins. But Lamont had Lone Ranger the Broncos over the Jets, which would be a big upset. And then also he has Lone Ranger the Chargers over the Chiefs, which wouldn't be too far-fetched because of the division rival, but it'll be interesting to see. Now we head to tonight. Tonight, I got the Dallas Cowboys winning their matchup against the New York Football Giants 24-14 and moving myself to 4-0 on Thursday night / Thursday football games. Go. Come on now. Let's keep the train rolling. And here are my picks for the week. First, the Dallas Cowboys, I got them winning tonight. Then I got the Panthers with a dub. I got the Falcons. I got the Titans, Jets, Packers, Steelers, Rams, Bucks, 49ers, Cardinals, Chiefs, Raiders, Bills, Titans, and the Detroit Lions. Yeah, I got the Titans getting their first win this week. There it is. Those are my winners for week 4. And I'm praying that these are winning picks. I can't afford to keep taking L's the way I've taken L's in these first 3 weeks of the season. So hopefully things will change. But all right, everybody, that's it. That is episode 141 of 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. And of course, Aaron on the Amazing Bowie Television. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week for our week 5 power rankings and episode 142. And man, I'm hoping I come back and say, yeah, your boy went 13-3. I'm hoping that that's the case because I can't take no more of this badness, but we'll see how that goes. I'm your man, Darrell Owens. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Enjoy some football. I got a flight to catch to Arizona to see if the Commanders can win their 3rd game of the year and start the season off 3-1, or will Kyler Murray and the crew have something else to say about that? Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next time.
One. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof.